Bitcoin smashed through $30,000 and 30K has been seen as a resistance level. This was the point where Bitcoin would finally crash, this long-awaited crash we've been talking about for a long time. But instead, Bitcoin continued to climb up to $33,000. So when is Bitcoin going to crash? When is it time to sell? Welcome aboard the Bitcoin Express. My name is Chase. Let's get to it. Bitcoin has been on an absolute tear. It's up 30% over the last 7 days. And we all know nothing goes up forever. Eventually, there will be a pullback. And this is especially true for crypto. It's true for stocks. It's true for any asset. There always will be a pullback. In the case of Bitcoin, there have been no pullbacks so far whatsoever. Even today, as Bitcoin went through 30,000, it went up to 33,000. And in the span of only 1 hour, it went back down to 30,000. Now, while this seems like a lot, 33,000 to 30,000 in 1 hour, it's not really, because we need to always look at anything we are investing in terms of percentage. And on a percentage scale, this was a single-digit loss. For example, if someone were to buy Cardano, which is at 17 cents, if it went to 8 cents, which does not seem like a lot, just a few cents, it actually is a lot because this is more than a 50% decrease. So in the case of Bitcoin, we have not had any of these major pullbacks so far. And these increases and decreases of $1,000 to $2,000 on an hourly candlestick will start to become normal. As Bitcoin grows, we will see these hourly candlesticks even get bigger, $2,000, $3,000. And if in the future Bitcoin is worth, let's say, $100,000 or more, we're going to see daily candlesticks of $5,000 to $10,000 up and down. So it's going to become very normal if Bitcoin grows at this rate. So now that you understand this, let's talk about risk management. This is extremely important. And there are two main probabilities that someone will try to calculate in order to determine whether it is a good time to get into Bitcoin or when it's time to sell. The first probability is when that crash happens, how much will that crash be? So this isn't saying how much it will decrease over time, but that instant crash, how low will it go? Some people will say 10%, some people will say 40%, some people will say 50%. For me, I have my calculations and I find it to be that crash will be 20 to 30%. And if you want to know how I came to that conclusion, check out the video I made, linked right above on the screen. I'll also leave a link at the end of this video. So that's number one. How much will that decrease be when the crash happens? And then the second thing a person will look at is when will that crash happen? And we all know by now that no one can time the market. So they get all the information they can get their hands on and they come to a calculation and they make a guess, a probability. When will that crash occur? When it comes to these two probabilities, I like to take it a few steps further and assume for the worst. So in the first case, if I am saying, or my guess is that when this crash happens, it will be 20 to 30%. Again, obviously it could be more than that. This is just what I came to, but no one has a crystal ball. So instead of saying 20 to 30, I just get rid of the 20. I get rid of the 22, 23, 25, and I assume the worst. So I say when the crash happens, 30%. And then moving on to number two, instead of trying to time when that crash will happen, instead of saying, is it a week, a month, who knows? I assume that it already happened or that it's going to happen instantly right now. To put this into perspective, to show you a real practical example, if I have $1,000 in Bitcoin or I have $1,000 that I want to put into Bitcoin, at the very moment, I assume that it decreased 30% and that it happened immediately. So if that happens, that would mean $1,000 would instantly become $700. And I ask myself, am I okay with that? Can I still go to sleep? Will I have anxiety? And many people watching this video, if you have $1,000 into Bitcoin or another asset and it turns into $700 in 1 minute, you might not panic. You might be okay with that. You might do nothing. You might even buy more as it goes down. But there are many people watching that if they put $1,000 into anything and in 1 minute, 2 minutes later, it was worth $700, they would have a lot of anxiety, a lot of panic and freaking out. There are even people watching that might put $100 into crypto and 1 minute later, if it was at $70, they would be freaking out. If you are one of these people, maybe time to reevaluate whether getting into crypto is a wise decision. In terms of risk management, something we often neglect is that everyone is unique and everyone's situation is different. Often you'll go on Reddit and you'll go on Twitter and Facebook and people will be asking, should I invest in this? Should I invest in that? But this is a very dangerous question because everyone's situation is different. When was the last time someone commented or asked for direct advice on whether they should invest or buy something, and the person giving the advice asked them first, well, how old are you? Where do you live? Are you married? Do you have kids? How many kids? What's your job? Everyone's situation is different, but when people seek out a lot of this investment advice, they're just getting general information that might not apply to them. Of course, this doesn't mean to ignore what everyone is saying, but take it with a grain of salt. Go ahead, go out and look for people's opinions on what they think, and then put it together and then figure out and determine for yourself, does it apply to you? Is it a smart decision for you? It's all about risk management. Protect your crypto before you even have the chance to make money. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.